Wow, what a week at Castle Pines Golf Club. BMW Championship, Captain America, Ryder Cup captain, Keegan Bradley holds on to his hat, wins at Castle Pines, wins the BMW, last guy in, first guy out, headed to the Tour Championship. We'll break it all down for you right here on Big Drive Energy, Sunday night, Sunday evening, nice little Sunday evening happy hour, Big Drive Energy. All right, let's tee it up. Big Drive Energy live Sunday afternoon happy hour with the Big Drive boys. Fresh off of NFL football.
0 hour.
I hit the NFL game. I hit the BMW today. It's been a Sunday fun day to say the least for you, boy.
Do you ever sit anything out?
No.
Do you ever take
I did. I am saying no to a Rockies game on Tuesday.
Well, that's not a big step for you, but
it's an investment in the future because we're meeting potential babysitter material.
Oh, okay.
So if that goes well, then Broncos games. Me and Kylie were talking outside after he got home from the game. And Sawyer, he was great, but he's won and he's crawling everywhere, trying to crawl on the floor. Great seats, by the way, that I got. Shout out to Game Time. Great seats, just like 4 feet of room in front of me. And in front of us, and and we were on not an aisle. We were on the aisle. There was no one next to my left, but it was like the end of the section. It was right above basically the spot where we always kind of walk in, that 135 area.
Yeah.
It was that first row. So a lot of room, but man, the kid is busy. And she goes, "Do you want to take him to these games this season?" And I was like, "What's the right answer here?" I mean, and she's like, "'Cause I don't." And I was like, yeah,
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Agreed.
That's why we're going to meet some babysitters and hopefully have a few Sundays of some parent-only Sundays.
Well, so a couple questions. Not necessarily a question, but a comment. He's only a year old, so he's not going to remember any of this anyways. So, like, it's just more work for you guys to bring him. So, logistically, if you can have somebody else watch him and you have tickets to the game, then I totally agree. It makes sense. As long as you don't just hit the sauce too hard during the game and then, you guys forget you have a kid and you end up at the bar and then it's like 10 p.m. And I mean, but if the Broncos are good, and I told Missy this, I gave my girlfriend this talk already because we've been together for like 2.5 years. I said, if the Broncos are good, you're going to see like a different side of me. I know they've yet to be good. They haven't been good in a decade. Let's put it that way. But we legitimately won a Super Bowl. And do you remember when I said if we win a Super Bowl, I would take 10 losing seasons just for a Super Bowl? And that is exactly what we got. But I told her, I was like, if we're good this year, you're going to see a completely different Mitchell during football season. So, I'm on board with that as long as you don't go too crazy. But how do you go about like looking for a babysitter?
Well, so she is doing all the work on this scenario. I think it's like there's like some apps and things that of like people that do this normally. I think it's like
Uber for babysitters.
Yeah, I think it's something of that nature, and they're like nursing students.
What's the app? The dog walking app.
I don't know what the dog walking app is. The dog watching app is Rover. We use Rover frequently.
I think Rover is a dog walking app as well.
Red Rover, come walk my dog all the way over.
So if you're having happy hour, what's your drink count then? I see you're drinking a Gatorade. What have you?
Gatorade now.
What have you consumed today?
I had a long drink, a Coors Light.
Long drinks are very underrated. They're fucking
very good. I don't like gin at all, but I love me a long drink.
It doesn't taste like gin though. It tastes like Fresca.
No, and the one I had is cranberry, so it's very good.
Cranberry.
And then shout out Coors, Arnold Palmer spiked. I've been in a big groove of those. I had quite a few of those yesterday at the BMW, so
You can
I'm in a
just
big groove.
down a million of those.
I'm yes, Brendan, I did. He was blocking my fucking view. That emaciated former offensive lineman, Big O. He's little
Dude,
O now.
He looks weird. He looks
Bro, he does. His head looks like he still weighs 330 and his body weighs 222. It's crazy. But yeah, he was right in front of me. Like I had to watch him take his shirt off, get in the barrel.
Oh, he took
like
his
not
shirt off?
not like fully. He had a black wife beater on, but
Oh, okay.
is that an acceptable term still?
I was literally just gonna say, are you still allowed to call that shit that?
Yeah,
I think
well, I just did,
so,
but
like,
yeah, that was Big O right in front of me, waving the flag around. Pretty electric. I will say, like, we won't get too much into Broncos talk because we're a national pod here, but the white on whites are fucking crispy, dude. Their jerseys are good. Everybody can be up in their feels.
yeah.
They're fucking good looking, and the
Well,
white versus the red on red with the Cardinals was just
yeah. Great color matchup. I will agree. One thing I will say though, and this is a hill I will die on, with cars, with golf clubs, with football helmets, with you name it, I think a shiny finish looks better than a matte finish. I always have and I always will. Matte was that one thing that like people start doing it there, like I feel like about 10 years ago, and you're like, holy shit, that's so cool. Like it looks so different. Even golf balls, like the colored matte golf balls, you're like, holy shit, these are awesome. And then the vanity kind of wore off for me. And now when I see like our matte Broncos helmets don't look good to me, my driver is actually like the matte finish on top, and that is the only thing. Like matte is actually more resistant, I feel like, to getting damaged. So I've yet to like scuff up the top of my driver, and I've had it for like 3 years. So I feel pretty good about that. But other than that, I think the shiny, like if we just had the shiny blue helmets back, those are the fucking peak for me. Like you wear the all whites with the shiny blue helmets. That's my shit. So that's the only problem I have is the matte finishes.
I just like it because it's different. I'm a big fan of different.
Everybody's doing that. It's not different anymore. It's not. It's fucking. I feel like it's following, not leading. And like matte cars to me are ugly. I don't think it almost looks cheap to me in a way. Like
I do see that. Yeah. But I like the matte helmets. I don't know. Personally,
like
I just like the change.
you take like a matte like G-Wagon, and I think it makes it look kind of corny and like fucking, like a little bit of like a what are those mini cars that the kids have? A Tonka, like a fake fucking car, basically.
Oh man, I don't even know what the word is.
Little race cars, little Tyco car. Tyco, is that even a fucking?
No, it's,
I don't know why that's coming to me. That's just a pull out of thin air. But holy shit, those. Whatever.
Yes.
Well, let's move on.
Let's move on and talk about.
Well,
you have something to say here?
Real quick, let's talk about Chicago. We had
yeah.
a tournament in Chicago. Cog Hill was a blast. Everybody had so much fun. Spencer striped it. Spencer hit it really good.
I had really good to start. Then I kind of fell off a little bit.
You and I
Adam Scotted it.
You and I, yes, we'll get into that. But you and I somewhat like ham and egged it because I started hitting it well about like the 6th or 7th hole, but you were carrying us up until that point. So I didn't really need to hit shots anyways, because and I've always said this, I'll say it again, your good shots are better than my good shots, especially off the tee. Like if I hit a good shot, you hit a good shot, you're 30 yards by me, we're obviously taking yours. But that just depends on how many good shots you hit, how many good shots I hit. So I started hitting the driver well, started hitting some iron shots pretty well. The putters were not working for either of us. We didn't really make anything. But we ended up, shout out Adam Hogue and his boy Kurt. They were dope. I mean, obviously Hogue's dope. We know him. Shout out CHGO Bears. I cannot wait. Just cannot wait for football season to start. I got actually bummed, like when they said, there was just a small part of my brain when they said the last preseason game is tonight. And I'm like, holy shit, what day is it? Like, does football start this Friday? But then I forgot they take a fucking week off in between, which is why the Tour Championship is everything is next week, because they don't want to compete with football. But I was just like, I thought for just a split second that football started this upcoming Friday, and I was about to fucking just jump through the roof. But it doesn't.
Well, we do have a lot of college football coming up this weekend.
We do have college
championship, top 30 players on the PGA Tour. It's going to be electric at East Lake. Let's get into well, first of all, Chicago, we have a video coming out from that of who hit more shots. We've got some, I hit a couple of dimes on par fours. That was my saving grace of the day, was just my dime dropping.
Drives, or are you talking about second shots?
I'm talking about drives. I think I hit 3 greens.
I don't recall you hitting like really good approach shots, but yes, a few of the par fours were short enough where, I mean, your first tee shot, how long was that hole? Did you end up looking? Was it like,
I think it was like 305 or something.
Oh, was it that short?
Yeah.
That's fucking soft of you.
I know.
I'm kidding.
Well, it was going in there straight up back injury. I wasn't even concerned with hitting that tee shot. I was like, okay, Mitchell, this is
that's your. I assume you want to save that for Mulligan of the week, but Spencer.
Yeah, I've got a few Mulligans of the week.
So do I, actually. Yes, so do I.
But yeah, back injury. I knew short par 4 we're starting out on. I knew you were going to have us. I always think you're going to have us with the tee shots, at least for sure. So I went up there. I didn't even take a practice swing. I just swung. And just right of that tree, which is a very damning tree for the record. Like for the first hole, I bet like 90% of people slice it right into that tree and it just drops into the fairway. We're talking about Cog Hill, by the way. Cog Hill number 2, Ravines.
Cog Hill's Piers, fuck.
Great golf course. But I just swung and I didn't even watch it really where it went. I just ran back, went to the bar to get my drinks because we were checking people in, going crazy all morning. And then we end up, running to the tee box and...
Shout out Coors Light, by the way. Sick merchandise. They were out there. It was just a great tournament. Well run on your part. You do get a little fucking buck wild on those days. Like, I just don't know exactly where your head's at because you almost lost your phone checking in. Like, you were like, check my location, see where my phone's at. We were standing, checking our bags, leaving Chicago. And you just had your phone in your hand like not a minute before. But can I take a step back real quick? Because I have a bone to pick with Spencer. I almost missed my flight to Chicago.
It wasn't my fault. Kind of.
So Spencer loaned his to-go bag. He loaned his travel bag, his golf travel bag, to a buddy who's a grown man, can get his own travel bag. Like, I understand if you don't travel a lot, you don't play a lot of traveling golf, then whatever. But that's like asking your buddies to help you move after 30. It's just one of those things where it's like either do it yourself, like whatever. So anywho, Spencer realizes he doesn't have his travel bag about 15 minutes before we leave. And that's where, like, sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees. You're so wrapped up in like all the little shit that like the big shit just fucking disappears. So you're like, oh, I don't have a bag to. So first of all, you think you want to jam your bag in my travel bag. I'm like, that's going to be 80, 90 pounds. You trying to jam my shit. You're not jamming your shit in there. So then we have to go get you a travel bag. Meanwhile, we get to the airport literally an hour before our flight, which I was concerned about checking bags at first. Turns out the bags were fine. Then I get stuck in the most heinous security line I've ever seen in my life. I have clear and I have pre-check. I am a seasoned traveler. I don't fuck around. Turns out that's the slowest line you can get in at the West Terminal at DIA. I stood in that line for 55 minutes. Spencer goes to South Security because you legitimately dropped me off with our bags and then went and parked and went to a different security.
And not only did I drop you off with our bags, let you go, I had to leave the airport. And if you've ever been to DIA, you know what it's like. I had to drive out of the airport, do a U-turn, and come back and park, find a parking spot, and get in. And I ended up at the gate like 30 to 40 minutes before Mitchell, eating empanadas, hanging out, having a great time. And then Mitchell was the last person on the plane. And he was like, it was insane. Like I was just sitting in the seat, looking back, looking up, looking down the aisle.
I was sweating my ass off.
I would have paid good money to see you sprinting through DIA trying to get to that.
My girlfriend said the same thing, and I'm like, fuck off. That's just not funny. And I just kept looking at the clock and like, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. I've never missed a flight before in my life. Like I don't cut it close, generally speaking, until I travel with you, and then every fucking flight's close.
Everything's cutting it close. That's how I live.
Yeah, you live on the edge for sure. But yeah, I made it on the flight. That was the worst experience I've ever had. But that's not even my mulligan of the week. So we'll save that for the very end.
Yeah, we'll save that for the very end. Before we get to the BMW Championship and discussing what our week was like there and out on the grounds there at Castle Pines Golf Club, I want to tell you guys about our great friends over at Lucy Nicotine. I'm rocking, just took a mint out, but I've got wintergreen. Got the wintergreen 4s rocking right now. Lucy is 100% pure nicotine all the time. You can get them in pouches, you can get them in breakers, and you can get them in gum if you're not a pouch fan. I cycle through, big variety guy. I have wintergreen right now. I have berry citrus. I have espresso. Love that with my coffee in the morning. I also have mint. I also have mango. So I'm a big variety guy. I like to cycle through them, but really liking the wintergreen 4s. That's my favorite pouch. Lucy is incredible because you can get it delivered straight to your door. Just set up a subscription. It's cheaper when you do it that way too. You're saving an extra 15% off when you set up a subscription to Lucy Nicotine. The pouches last way longer than any nicotine product we've ever used, and they're bigger and thicker, and it just feels better in your mouth. You know, you just like something big and thick.
Are we still doing a Lucy read here?
We're still doing it. So check out Lucy. Go to lucy.co/BDE. And you're saving 20% off your first order when you use code BDE. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co, code BDE to get 20% off, and as always, free shipping. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Also want to tell you guys about our friends over at Shady Rays. Shady Rays are incredible sunglasses. I'm actually, this is time will tell on the experience that I'm about to have, but I went to put on a pair of my Shady Rays in my truck today to go to the BMW, and they snapped. The frame just like broke at the top. So I was one eye in it. I had one. No, I didn't actually go like that. I went and grabbed my Shady Rays from my golf bag. It's still in the back of my car, in my to-go bag. But I am going to test out the refund policy / return policy / exchange policy. That's the word I'm looking for here.
You're exchanging broken ones for new ones?
Shady Rays. Yeah, because they have an insane policy on that. So I'm going to get some new Shady Rays, but get ready for the golf season and heading into the winter. If that means you're a snowboarder, or if you're living in a warm weather state and you get to have your golf season coming up here soon as we get into the fall / winter months here in Colorado, Shady Rays has you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. They're an independent sunglass company that offers a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They have hundreds of options to choose from. You are bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. I'm a big aviator looking guy, but I like the Green Wolf frames with the polarized lenses. They're incredible. They make it so much better just looking at a golf course. I'm a big fan of it when I look at the golf course with my Shady Rays on. If your shades ever go missing,
real quick, I'm sorry. I let Missy, my girlfriend, try on my Shady Rays. So I was driving to the golf course yesterday, and the colors just looked so good in the sunglasses. I was like, babe, look through these lenses. And she was like, holy shit, this looks so good. Like the lenses just make the colors pop so much more, but they're also like tinted just enough. I think I got the classic like polarized, but they're not like they're a little tinted, but they're also polarized. So it darkens it a little bit. It's not crazy bright, but all the colors just pop. She's like, holy shit, this looks so good. So I absolutely love my Shady Rays. I played golf yesterday, and they looked the whole golf course. Like I almost hate taking them off because you're like looking from a different perspective. You're like, this shit looks so good. And then you take them off, and it just kind of, the landscape looks a little bit more bland without them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I love having my Shady Rays on. The Green Wolves, especially when I'm golfing. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right, let's get into it. BMW Championship. Let's talk a little bit about our experience before we talk about the golfers, the actual important people's experience. I thought they did a pretty good job. Now, granted, the one part that we have is like this morning, I was like, I want to go get breakfast. So I go to the media tent, free breakfast. Guy's whipping me up an omelet, singing Jimmy Buffett. This guy was a legend, by the way. He goes, he makes my omelet and he puts cheese on it, which I didn't ask for cheese. Like, whatever.
Well,
But
that's
I
just a
think,
normal person thing. Like
I know.
I think the ingredients of an omelet are literally like at the base of it, just eggs and cheese. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
think you
fair.
start there and you go from fucking anywhere else.
But when you walk up to the omelet station, it's, you have your stuff. I ordered bacon, I ordered ham, I ordered green and red bell peppers and some onions. And I didn't say cheese. There was cheese there, but I didn't say cheese. And so then he starts whipping it up. He's literally singing like Margaritaville as he's whipping it up. He does this for salt and pepper. He goes, "You want salt and pepper?" I was like, "Yeah."
Hits it
He's
with
like,
the Salt Bay.
"Yeah." Oh, he straight up hit it. And then so he starts putting cheese on, and I was like, he was too cool for me to say no. He was too cool for me to be like, nah,
You didn't
dude,
just
I'm
want to
sorry.
interject and be like, "What the fuck? I didn't ask for cheese, dude."
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. So I just let him put the cheese on. And then he looks at me and goes, melted cheese in the bottom because I love my job. And I was like, cool. I was like, I'm going to be scraping that off.
I will
So
say that
thank you.
like the hospitality people were fucking awesome. Like they had custom like they had people in there making like custom coffees. Like you get a latte. The food spread was phenomenal. When I tweeted and said that like the food spread was my priority, I wasn't lying because we got coupons for breakfast and lunch each day, and we definitely hit that every time we could. So, but the people were just like super welcoming and super nice. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was overall a great experience walking into the golf course, getting our media passes. And like I said earlier, it's a little misleading because we had the media passes. So where we got dropped off was right next to the clubhouse. I didn't even make it down to like the main gate where they drop most of the people off down by 16. Never got down there. I just stayed mostly all the 4 days I was there. It was on the front nine, maybe a little bit of 18, 17, but never made it down to the 16/15 area where like the main gate was. But I would say overall, when you go to the waste management every single year, and I brought my family to this event, just so much more like relaxed, and you can get a drink in less than 5 minutes. And I know the last year's waste management was an extra special shit show, but it was nice to be at this all week and see kind of how they did it. Other than the hummingbird costing $22, Austin, I saw him yesterday, and his buddy that was DDing them, they got there at like 6:15 in the morning yesterday. So shout out to them. They got there hella early, made their day, ended up leaving at like 3 in the afternoon and then going to a bar, just making a full day out of it. But his buddy who was DDing was like, hey guys, I'll grab the first round. Like, and so they were like, yeah, let's just do the special of the hummingbirds. And it was like $125 for 5 of them. And he was like,
Wait,
what the fuck, dude?
so the DD was having one?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
Okay,
6:15 in the
I just
morning. They
wanted to
didn't leave till
clarify,
3. Yeah.
like if I'm DDing, that was like what I talked about with like paying to give away my fucking frequent flyer miles. If I'm DDing you, I'm not also buying the people around that I'm DDing unless I'm also drinking. But even then, if I'm DDing, I'm not offering around. Like I'm already paying you and fucking getting you home in one piece. So yeah, but I pointed that out on Thursday. I'm like, the fucking custom drink is $22. And it's probably got, the standard jigger amount of liquor in it. Like it's not a strong drink by any means. It's like, where the fuck I mean, they were charging $98 for do you pronounce it melon? I think it is melon. I actually
Malone.
Water Malone. I just put that together in my head. I think melon as in like your melon, but it's MELIN. You know what I'm saying? Those kinds of hats.
Oh yeah, they were charging $98 for a hat.
Yes.
I don't remember seeing that.
They were all over social media. We didn't see it, but they were selling $98 hats with the hummingbirds on the front of it. It's like, what the fuck is this hat capable of? Because otherwise, I am.
What can this hat do for me if I'm gonna pay
What that
100
hat
bills,
do? What
100
that hat
beans
do?
for it?
Yeah, that's fucking absurd. Like any hat being over 35, $40 is just a total crock of shit.
Well, and I'm a sucker for buying my kid things at everything I go to. It's just like how it is.
How
But I bought him a little hummingbird stuffed animal, stuffy, and it was $35. But
well,
I couldn't
yeah,
resist. It said BMW on the wing. I mean, you could probably get that like as a Beanie Baby for $7. But since it said BMW Championship on the wing, 35 beans.
dude. I mean, that's not even the crazy part. The head covers were $150. The t-shirts were $70. Like it's just getting more expensive and more expensive. It's fucking bananas.
Well, lucky for me, I didn't buy a t-shirt on Tuesday. And then I was like, I got to get a t-shirt today.
Uh-huh.
And all they had was like extra small and then triple X in the
Oh,
good
so you got
shirts.
fucked.
Yeah, got hosed.
Oh, well, so that's why you don't do that. But I will say overall, what my only gripe, if I were to nitpick the golf course, besides our own personal issues we've had with them, the actual golf course itself, not the tournament, but the golf course is just not built to host that many people. Like, I think they said the forecast was 30 to 40,000 people a day. And that seems like a lot, but when you have a 300-acre area that you're covering, it's really not that much. Like, there's not that many people on each hole. There's not that many grandstands. Like, I think the 16th at TPC Scottsdale holds 15,000 by itself. I think, TPC Scottsdale, and obviously it's a tough one to compare it to because talk about doing the numbies of all numbies. That's like the Alex Earl of PGA Tour events. It's just doing numbies. But they do like 120 to 140,000 people a day, I want to say. So the fact that there was only 30 to 40,000 at the BMW, the playoff event that actually like really matters, is a little disappointing, but it's just the property itself. And we mentioned it, but the BMW is not coming back here. The BMW is traditionally rotated site. So it just got this 1-year contract. But that was my one gripe on it was I wish more people would have been able to come out and see it because the course looked fantastic. And I will say we can get into the play here. The course held its own. I was shocked. I really thought they were going to shred this place. And I guess that goes to show you if you can make a golf course 8,100 yards at elevation, it's going to hold up. Like it was some of the highest relative scores. About half the field was over par in the playoffs. This is the top 50 players on the PGA Tour. I'm not going to say in the world because there's probably 20 of those guys over on the Live Tour right now, but the top 50 on the PGA Tour. And, there was, I think, a score or two in the 80s. It was playing very tough. The rough was long. The fairways, like, I wish we would have played it that firm. Because did you see some of those balls rolling out? Like, I think Aubert.
Dude, I watched Brian Harmon and outdrive Sam Burns today because he caught a hot spot on one. And Brian Harmon hits it nowhere.
He hits it as far as I do, or probably a little bit longer, but no, Brian Harmon hits it virtually nowhere. I think today I saw Ludwig Aubert fucking hit a tee shot like 430 yards, I want to say, on the par 5 14th. Nate, at least the kids get in free. Took my 8-year-old Saturday, had some great memories in her $35 hat, got some cool autographs on it. That is badass. I love that.
Yeah, I will say the fact that they allowed everybody under 15 with a paid adult in for free.
That's
good on you.
Well done.
And that's probably where they, sold 30,000-ish tickets, but then had, 10,000 kids, maybe 5 to 10,000 kids. So added to it. But there was people, I saw a few comments from the BMW Championship Instagram when they were commenting about how like Saturday or Friday was sold out. And there's so many comments that were like, imagine selling out grounds tickets in unlimited space or something like that. So I can see it from both sides. From an aspect of the fan side, the tickets were a little ridiculous if you didn't buy them right away and got them on the secondary market. But at the same time, that's unfortunate for you, but for the people that are attending, you could crowd that place with another 30,000 people, but then it would be a disaster. It would be like the Waste Management. Like the PGA Tour has seen what happens when they overcrowd an event, and especially an event like this one where there's no on-site parking for anyone else other than the players, which is fine. You know, it's shuttle. Most PGA Tour events are shuttle only, but I mean, it's a place that doesn't hold. You know, you can plan all you want until the actual event starts happening. You don't know where people are going to go, what's going to happen at the spot. And when you haven't had an event at that specific course for 20 years, right? 2006 or 18 years. So when you haven't had an event for 18 years at a golf course with this many people that are into golf and this big of a championship in the FedEx Cup playoffs, you just have no idea what's going to happen. So you gotta look out for the people that are actually going at the same time too. So I kind of commend them for that. Like, they could have made another, 100,000 ticket sales at 70, 80, 90 bucks a piece, whatever they were, and made another $2 million. But they didn't do that because they wanted the experience for the people that actually went to be as good as it could be. And I thought they did a good job of that.
Your math just did not even get close to mathing there, but
100,000 tickets at $70. What is that? $700,000?
7 million.
$7 million. My math doesn't math normally.
Holy shit. That was actually,
I've been out of school for too long.
Real quick, back on the Nate's daughter getting her hat covered in autographs, which is awesome. There was some tweets floating around today on social media about like having a kids only autograph area, which I think goes without saying.
Like, I think the tournament should be, I think all sporting events should be kids only autographs.
Yeah.
Seeing like 40-year-old dudes, like, I don't want to get too into it because it pisses me off.
And we grew up like going to spring training games where we saw 40-year-old dudes waiting outside of the gate and getting autographs. And I remember guys being like, "What's your name?" Like they're just turning around and selling these. A lot of the guys don't. There is people that legit collect this stuff, but so many of these guys don't give a shit and they're just in it for the resale, for the eBay, and that shit fucking sends me up a roof. But yes, if you're throwing elbows at kids to get an autograph, this day and age, when you can find something on the internet for $40 for most of these people, you're not getting Tiger Woods autograph at Torrey Pines in 2008. There's nothing historical about this shit. So calm down, let the little kids get their autographs, because we used to love doing that as kids, but there was always those grown-ass men throwing elbows at us, pushing us out of the way, and that is the epitome of like, take a good hard look in the mirror, because you need to fucking take a step back. Like, you need to go touch some grass if you're elbowing kids out of the way for an autograph.
Oh, 100%. Real quick, before we get into more of the BMW Championship, I want to tell you about our great friends over at Rugged Road. Rugged Road makes incredible outdoor products for your next adventure. They're dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Their products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring that they perform in the toughest conditions. Their coolers are incredible. They're super light, easy to carry 2 at a time. And then they have great handles on them, and they always float. So they're always floating upright. You never lose a drink with Rugged Road coolers.
Great handles
get one today.
Like you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got a great set of handles on me. They're durable and dependable. They handle the toughest environments. They're built to last, and they keep your contents cool for up to 7 days, but much longer than that. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code ALLCITY for 10% off. All right. More about the BMW Championship. Do we want to get into Keegan Bradley and the people that impressed us this week? Or I do want to say, and just kind of piggybacking off your point of the course holding its own, seeing a winner at 12 under for 4 days and like a bunch of guys at 11, and then the guys that shot in the 80s. I mean, my boy Nick Dunlap shot 77 today. I'm pretty impressed, and I think that this is maybe a blueprint for Colorado to get more golf tournaments. And seeing that this wasn't a shootout, you know, Adam Scott tied the course record at 63 on Friday. There was a lot of eagles on the par fives, which is always fun, makes for a fun event. And I heard that. Did you hear that on the broadcast? I think it was yesterday. They wanted to, whoever's running it, the Western Golf Association, wanted to play this tournament as a par 71 and make 17 a par 4. And George Solich was like adamant that they did not do that. So he won the battle of that. But yeah, they wanted to play as par 71, but
I thought it already was a par 71.
No, it's 72.
Oh, is it 72? Okay.
Yeah. But
so I will say it is crazy to think that Adam Scott was 13 under after 2 rounds, and the winner, he could have shot even par and won the event if he would have shot even par on the weekend, which would have been boring, but that is crazy to think about. Like after Friday, I was like, holy shit. But I kind of knew like water's going to find its level. Adam Scott played his ass off on Friday. But then, you know, it's always that hindsight's 2020. I'm like, Adam Scott's the only dude in this field who's played this golf course, albeit 20 or fucking 18 years ago. He has played this golf course before, and he's the only one in the field. How is he not on our card? But then, you know, he struggled over the weekend. He's in his mid fucking 40s, man. He's still an elite athlete. Don't get me wrong. He hits it super well, and then you look at a guy like Keegan, who, you know, is in his mid late 30s. And I mean, the veterans, I feel like if you would have told me that Keegan Bradley and Adam Scott were tied going into like the back 9 of a PGA Tour playoff event going in 2024, I would tell you you're full of shit. Like I did not have that on my bingo card.
Yeah, and the fact that Adam Scott not only is 44 and is still an elite athlete, but golf, you know, you can get around being older and just doing other things well. The dude still has like 180 ball speed off the tee, 185. Like he still moves it an insane amount too, not to mention obviously he's a great all-around player. That's why he's out there, and that's why he's a top 50 player in the PGA Tour. Great looking dude. But yeah, the fact that he's also moving it as fast as he was moving it was insane.
Yeah, he was hitting like his 2-wood. A lot of these guys are carrying like a driving, it's a driving wood, so that just makes it sound like a driver. But it's like a 13-degree. It's almost like it's between a driver and a 3-wood. Holy shit. How crazy is that? A 2-wood's between a 1-wood and a 3-wood. But he was producing, I think, between high 170s and low 180 ball speed with that thing. So yeah, I mean, all the credit in the world to him. But yeah, I did honestly think that he was going to come back a little bit to the field, which he did. But then Keegan just hung in there tough. Like, I mean, we saw it today. The course conditions got tougher and tougher. So many guys were missing numbers. And I just got a real quick, Wyndham Clark, man, what the fuck? Like, he did me so dirty on our hypothetical betting card picks. He was at one point T5 with 7 holes left. And then I was about to say, when you said they were going to turn 17 to a par 4, I was about to say, I'm glad they didn't, because then he would have made triple there instead of just double today. He absolutely shits down his leg on 17 and makes double bogey to take himself out of the top 12. That had me annoyed. And then Xander Schauffele did not play well today either. Couldn't make anything. So it was a weird week from like a pick standpoint. It wasn't just chalk. Like Rory, I mean, having the issues that he had, and he, you know, finishes at 5 under, just outside of the top 10. And Ludwig Aubert played well. But just dudes that you didn't really expect to be up there ended up being up there. So,
yeah, well, and this is setting up for an interesting, obviously, it's always interesting at the Tour Championship, but Keegan was the last guy in. was not projected at all to make it to the Tour Championship. Now he's hot, and we saw last year Victor Hovland won the BMW, turned around and won the Tour Championship. So Keegan Bradley's been around. He's played there before. He's, dealt with the pressure before. And one of the insane stats I sent you and I saw on Keegan Bradley, and we don't have to rehash the Ryder Cup because it's been done a million times on a million different golf shows. But this tweet from Kyle Porter, CBS, PGA Tour wins the last 2 seasons. Keegan Bradley has 3. Ryder Cuppers Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay, and Colin Morikawa combined have 2 wins. So Keegan Bradley with a little feather in his cap there. I hope he makes the Ryder Cup now as a player and does the player captain scenario. We'll see how that all plays out. Don't want to get too much into it, but I do want to get into Rory a little bit because we have some clips here, but just an all around wild week. And not only Rory getting angry, but like Scottie Scheffler and Matt Fitzpatrick, this golf course did frustrate the hell out of some of those guys. And I think, I'm going to say, and I'm going to stand on it, that I think the yardage scenario and the ball flights and the way it flies up here did get to them. And I think it bothered them. So here's a clip of Rory today, just snapping his driver. Now, do you think that was intentional? Because I heard some different things on the broadcast of that. It wasn't, it doesn't look intentional, but then it was ruled intentional. So he didn't get to replace the club.
It was ruled intentional?
Yeah, he didn't replace that club. He teed off 10 with 3 wood and went way left of left. Didn't go into the clubhouse and get a new driver. I didn't, I didn't watch the full back 9, but as far as I heard that when I was on the broadcast or watching the broadcast through 10, they said he didn't go get a new club because it was under if you break your club unintentionally, you get to replace it. If you don't, and it's intentional, you don't get to replace it.
That is the most non-intentional. You really have to look into it and read into something that he's thinking hard. But why? In what he didn't throw it in the water like he did a couple days ago. What the fuck? They called that non-intentional. So here's Rory throwing his driver into the water. This is my tweet, which is a fantastic tweet, by the way. This dude has more clubs tossed in the water than majors in the last decade, or just today for that matter. I hatched that one all on my own. But the real beta move there was he actually went and grabbed the club out of the water. You got to hook that thing into the middle of the fucking lake and never see it again. Or where was he at Doral a couple years ago? And just went full one arm toss 50 yards into the lake, or you just don't throw it at all, because you throwing that up into the water and then walking up there, talk about a walk of shame. That has nothing on these college girls. That is the worst walk of shame I ever seen, to go grab your own club out of the water. And speaking of water, then Rory hit a shot standing on 2 separate rocks. Emma, I think we have that one, if you can pull that one up. If we don't,
this was an incredible golf shot, because they were almost saying he should have kept his shoes on and just rolled his pants up, because his bare feet kept slipping on the rocks. But he was standing, trying to get his footing on both of these rocks.
Yeah, there we go.
And just his right foot kept slipping here in the back. And then he hits it on the green, makes par. But it was, I was watching with bated breath, as lame as that sounds, because I thought that right foot was going out, and I thought he was going ass over tea kettle into the water for sure.
Oh my God, that would have been an all-time clip. I wish he could have done that, but he ended up, having a decent week all in all. It's just another, there's just so much bullshit building for Rory where he doesn't win, and he's just that good that it feels like he should be winning so much more. And obviously he feels the same way. So now I think it's in his own head where he understands that he's not winning. And he's like, how am I not winning? You look at statistics, you look at all this, and it just doesn't add up at the end of the day that he is not getting it done at some of these events. So the frustration has boiled over. But like you said, Scottie Scheffler finished outside the top 10 this week. Xander Schauffele didn't play
Scottie
great.
Scheffler barely finished even par. I think he was 1 or 2 over par for the week.
No, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
The
and a lot
playoffs
of
come back to haunt this guy no matter how good of a season he's having.
well, I know, and I mean, just the fact that like he's going to start the Tour Championship after the year he's had with a 2-shot lead is pretty disgusting. But I honestly, if it comes down to Sunday and it's Xander and Scotty, that's going to be must watch TV. Like that's going to be electric. But I think we're going to have, 1 or 2 guys that are starting at 6 under make a run, because remember Eastlake has been a full redesign as well. Eastlake has gotten a complete facelift, so this is another quote unquote new course that these guys are playing. Like, and a lot of them haven't been out there. And actually, Missy was asking me, like, do you think any of these guys came out to Colorado? And you obviously don't know if you're going to be in the top 50 or not, unless you're Scottie Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, unless you're cemented inside of the top 10. But she was like, do you think they come out and played it all? And I was honestly like, I bet they didn't. And nowadays, because of TrackMan, like they could spend a couple hours on the driving range on Tuesday and really dial in their numbers. But that doesn't even tell the full story, like on TrackMan when you're at altitude, because you saw so many dudes throughout this week get numbers wrong. Like Keegan and Scott, Adam Scott on 15, the par 4, they both had like 100 yards in. They both flew the green. Keegan missed it left, like long and left in the bunker, and then Adam Scott flew the green by like 15 yards. And those dudes just flat out do not, like, you won't see that at sea level. So the not playing this course, and that's where I thought Wyndham had a distinct advantage. Like a guy like Tony Finau, who didn't end up playing well, but guys that play at altitude more often. And I was kind of explaining this to Missy a little bit because she doesn't understand the sea level. She gets the sea level versus like altitude, but she's like, wouldn't they want to play more at altitude because the ball goes further? I'm like, no, it's actually not helpful because they hit the ball plenty far already. But at altitude, the distance is actually harder to control because you rarely at sea level get a ball that just goes forever. But if you, especially in that rough out there at Castle Pines, if you fucking clip an iron and you're, downhill, downwind, you could hit a 9-iron. And not talking about me personally, like that would be like a 9-iron for me, would be like 180, which is what they're playing stock. So they're hitting 9-irons. Probably some of them were hitting a 9-iron, 220, 230, which is just like, I don't think those guys can even wrap their heads around it. But that was the ultimate challenge. I feel like this week was just the guys controlling their distance, and especially when the wind was up these last few days, we saw where Castle Pines' teeth really did come out. Like the greens were firm, they were fast, they made the pins tough, and altitude or no altitude, this golf course was tough for those guys.
Yeah, and we'll get into the, we'll do our, if you're tuning in right now, appreciate that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Big Drive Energy Golf. We've got some giveaways to give away at the end of the show, but also, all week we'll be doing our preview on Wednesday of the Tour Championship, and won't get too much into it now, but Scottie Scheffler will start at that 10 under par, then Xander 8. Interesting enough, Hideki Matsuyama will start at 7, and Keegan, with his win, has vaulted all the way up to number 4 and will start at 6 under. And then you have Aubert at 5, and then a group of people starting at 4 of, your, great golfers, essentially your guys that you would pick to win this, the McIlroy, Morikawa, Clark, Burns, and Cantlay. So it's going to be an interesting Tour Championship. Of course, join us on Wednesday for that. But I want to talk about another, I know you kind of talked on Wyndham Clark disappointing you. Scottie Scheffler, another disappointing week. And I think the golf course got to him, dude. I really do.
100%. I mean, he was visibly frustrated at different points. I think like what I just talked about, you rarely see guys on the PGA Tour. Like that is one of the, and I was talking about this earlier this week. One of the biggest differences between even an elite level, like mini tour guy versus a PGA Tour guy, at least from my naked eye and my experience, PGA Tour guys hit their exact number. so much more frequently than even your average pro, even like a guy like us, you know, a better player, whatever. That really sets them apart is being able, whether they, you know, pull it a little bit, whether they push it a little bit, they're losing a yard or two or gaining a yard or two. But those guys are so dialed in on their distances that this week was just a total, like, that is one of the variables that's gone in their mind is like, am I going to hit this too hard? Like they know how hard they need to hit it to certain numbers. And this week you catch a ball that just goes forever or vice versa. You know, you plan on a ball jumping and going forever and it doesn't. It was just another variable for all the players this week where they're not used to that kind of thing. Like sea level is sea level. You know how far the ball goes at sea level. But then there's altitude. There's different levels of altitude and the wind's different. The heat's different because there's no humidity and like the excuse me. The variables this week, it was honestly fun. And like I will pound on the table that Colorado Golf Club needs an event because I think Castle Pines is great. But in my personal opinion, Colorado Golf Club is even better than Castle Pines. And that's actually built to host events like these. It's built to have a bunch of fans. The layout is phenomenal. Not to take anything away from Castle Pines golf course wise, but I really do think that Colorado Golf Club needs to host a PGA Tour event in the near future because it's just too good not to. Like if you, and they have all the land in the world, you know, they can stretch that puppy out as far as they want. So I don't see them having any problem, you know, down the line hosting an event like that. But the altitude is just a different animal, man. Like unless you play it all the time, you're not used to it. So you've just got another whole bag to unpack with all the distance control and all that. And that's where we saw Scottie, you know, boiling over was, you know, flying it past the flag and you think it's going to spin and this and that. And like, it was just, it was a frustrating week for a lot of people.
Yeah, there was a lot of numbers out there that I honestly did not expect to see. And I thought winter would be probably anywhere between 17 and 20 under. And it felt like it was going to be way worse than that after Friday. You're like, oh God, these guys are going way low. And then your winner finishes at 12 under. So shout out to Keegan Bradley. One note I did have that I heard when you're talking about yardages is that not a single one of these guys hit a single golf shot on Tuesday or Wednesday, whether it was on the range, doing their pro-am, whatever, without a TrackMan present. And so that's kind of what it takes because, you know, with Colorado and it being a one-off event, even though it's an important event, you know, they're not coming out here to play it a ton. Maybe Wyndham played it probably the most of anybody. And maybe a couple guys got out here a few times when they took weeks off, but you know, not enough to know the golf course. But I think that's what makes the BMW so fun is the fact that it's, you know, you play the hits with the St. Jude at TBC Southwind. And then when you cut it down to 50, you're like, all right, we're going to really cut it down by playing a golf course that everybody's, you know, a 10-year tour veteran has no real advantage to a rookie or a second-year player at a course like this. So it was cool to see the leaderboard, you know, some guys up there that were surprising, but then, you know, you had your Obears, you had Wyndham, you had Xander kind of up there, and it just came down to Keegan Bradley making putts and just staying in it. And I'm so happy for Keegan in general, just a good dude. He went out to the Broncos facility this week, so maybe he was one of like 3 guys that was out there. Him, Wyndham, and I believe Tom Hoagie. So at least one of those guys got the dub, but maybe they maybe the Broncos rubbed off on them, or you know, they've got some good luck going on. We'll see. Speaking of good luck, do we want to get to, well, let's get to our Mulligan of the week, and then we'll hit our giveaway winners.
Okay, so Mulligan of the week, if you're new here, it's basically something we wish we could have a do-over on. Just something that went poorly for us, and we seem to have quite a bit of those in our everyday lives. So I'll go ahead and start. And this is a thick boy problem. I will preface it with that. My thighs just, you know, when you get really sweaty and then you no longer are sweating and then your thighs are stuck together, they're rubbing and the friction. So basically we played golf in Chicago. I was wearing pants because I always wear pants. It's just what I do. It's nothing to do with my calves. My calves are nice and tan. and somewhat muscular. They're not Spencer's calves, but I don't have little twig legs at least, so I can feel good about that. But I wear pants just because it's what I'm used to. You know, I should wear shorts. I need to just get more shorts. Anywho, wearing pants, legs are sweating. It's somewhat hot, and then I change into shorts. And my like already walking to the gate at the airport, I was like hurting. Like I needed to go air it out. You just don't have any airflow going on down there. It's just not good. Um, so then I sit on the flight and I get up and I'm the furthest gate from from the baggage claim to go get my clubs. And I'm legit walking like with my feet spread more than shoulder width apart. I'm like, I don't give a fuck who's watching me right now at this point. It hurts so bad. I was like limping around, and I think you went through something similar after the Legacy Ridge event, so you get it. Like I had to put burn cream in between my thighs. Like it was just such a painful experience. So whatever I can do, hopefully wear shorts, something like that going forward. But I I have not felt that kind of pain. And like I was legit considering I played golf yesterday afternoon. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play this round. And like just think of how embarrassing that is. Like, oh, why can't you play golf? Because my thighs hurt so fucking bad. Like I never thought I would reach that point in my life, but I was there yesterday. So uh yeah, very regretful situation. I hope I can fix that going forward. I don't know how, but maybe just have less thick thighs if
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I've gone through the same thing. If I don't wear the correct underwear, I'll never make that mistake again. Also, shout out to my son's diaper rash cream because that shit works fucking miracles on him, and I know firsthand how
I
well it
might need
does.
to cop. You need to drop me the link
Drop
to
me the
your son's
Amazon link.
diaper rash cream. Holy shit.
My mulligan of the week is something simple, and this just means I'm getting older. We were headed to the BMW on Thursday morning. I went to go throw my backpack in the back seat of my truck. Simple as that. Taking off my backpack, right arm, reached it out, back completely seized up. Felt like shit. And then it doesn't help when you're, walking most of the day, I guess maybe helped loosen it up. But then we had to go to the airport, sit on the airplane that night, slept in not my own bed, slept in the same bed as you. That was treacherous. And then woke up early, going to the golf course again, and then played 18 holes. That's why that first swing, even though I hit it perfect, like I probably 70% into it, 70 or 80% of my like power was into it. And it didn't hurt all that bad during the day, but still like I have the move like when I like try to stand up or like sit down, it's just like
You
that
still feeling it?
yeah, that light little like it's where you can't breathe fully and you try to breathe and then it hurts. So I am going to a chiropractor on Monday or Tuesday. Needed to do this anyways. I usually go every like 6 weeks to 2 months and haven't been going, but now I have a legit reason to go. So apparently taking off my backpack, I wish I would have just done that more careful. That's something I'll think about moving forward now that I'm 30, I guess.
But see, I think it's not like it would have happened either way. I don't think it was just you taking off your backpack. Like I feel like when your back tweaks, it's been on the verge of like, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back because like you said, it's not like you're throwing around weights or anything. You're just literally you do have too much shit in your backpack. I will say that. You fucking act like you're going camping every time you carry that thing around. You've got a change of clothes, you've got a fucking uh bag with all your toiletries, you got your laptop, you got the whole like you are
Snacks. Don't
prepared.
forget the snacks.
A lot of snacks, a lot of
Never snackless.
free bullshit. Yeah, but you're like a high schooler with your backpack. Like you're one of those kids carrying that shit around, and like luckily you're a full grown adult now. But if you were carrying that in high school, that thing would be dragging you down because it is heavy. So maybe this is your sign to unweight that backpack a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I do need to go through a little clean out of my backpack. Let's get to our giveaways. So shout out to everybody that commented both on our YouTube or followed us, subscribed to our YouTube channel, and then commented on our Instagram post and Twitter. We appreciate you guys all tuning in for these events, especially when we're at them. It's a lot of fun just taking a lot of pictures, making videos out of it. I'm sure some of our videos will be asked to be taken down at some point. I did never hashtag the PGA Tour, so that maybe that'll save us. And
Turd.
we'll get our videos kept up. But so our winner on Instagram is Zach Goberis. He said Scheffler was going to shoot 7 under today, which it wasn't Scheffler. It was Sam Burns. They were like besties, so it's pretty close. But he was the only one that had 7 under for the event.
Hell
so
yeah.
Shout out Zach Goberis. We'll DM you and get that sent over to you. And then on Twitter, we have Davis Brendel. So we have a couple of different people that commented, but our Twitter giveaway winner is going to be Davis Brendel. Shout out to Davis. He's an awesome dude. He was actually working at the BMW this week. So I don't know if that's a little bit of insider trading, but he did guess it before the giveaway started. So shout out to Davis Brendel. He got the 65 Sunday low right on the number. And once again, that was shot by Sam Burns today. And then our YouTube winner, shout out Zach Rodriguez, YouTube subscriber. He won our Swag Golf putter head cover, not ours, his now, but the Swag Golf putter head cover. Zach, I hope you got a mallet because you are getting this shipped to you. Appreciate everybody that tuned in this week, not only for our shows, but played in our giveaway stuff. Maybe we'll do an E-Slate giveaway next week. We'll figure that out, but we will be back on Wednesday. Not sure what time yet. Keep tuned into our social medias for the exact time, but we'll be back Wednesday with another edition of Big Drive Energy. We appreciate you all tuning in.
Shout out Lydia Ko, won the Women's Open. We didn't mention it. Won the Olympic gold
meant to
medal.
get to that. I did actually watch the end of that today too. So I'll just give a quick rundown. 6 under par. There was 3 ladies at 6 under par: Nelly Korda, Lydia Ko, and I forget
Lily
the other
Vu,
ladies'
right?
name. Vu, yep. They were all 6 under. Lydia was up ahead at 18, made birdie on 18 at St. Andrews, hit it to like 6 feet. Nelly Korda was in the bunker at 17, had to get up and down to stay within a shot. So then she would have to birdie 18. She didn't get up and down from the bunker. She left the putt short for par, ended up having to hole out for eagle on 18. Didn't do that. And then Lilia Vu actually made bogey at 17 as well. So kind of took herself out of it. But Lydia Ko, incredible August 2024 for her, winning a gold medal and then turning around and winning not only just the Ladies Open, which is obviously a big deal, but whenever something's at St. Andrews, the home of golf, it hits a little different. So shout out to Lydia Ko. Shout out to all you listeners. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at Big Drive Energy, on Instagram at Big Drive Energy Pod, also on TikTok, Big Drive Energy. I am Big Drive Spence. He's at Big Drive Mitch. That's enough big drives for us and for you today. We will talk to you on Wednesday. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.